Why Hitler was obsessed with Iceland, Hitler's girlfriend. What is this? Inside the world's most spectacularly failed coup? Oh, is this Silver Core? Oh, dude, Vice is spitting, dude. Is this the Silver Core Venezuela coup, chat? Oh, come on, dude. Oh, this is fucking fire.
Enterprise, a dictatorship, an authoritarian regime.
This is fuego.
You need to prevent any attempt to throw you from being in power.
JJ Rendon is a fervent anti-communist and political.
Yeah, I wonder what he does. Fucking CIA,
fixer.
Dude.
He's worked to
Vice is so CIA, it's not even funny. Holy shit.
Influence Latin American politics for decades.
So, how long have you been trying to overthrow the Venezuelan government?
Depends on what you call overthrow, but we were fighting for 98. It's 23 years of that.
And do they consider you their enemy?
They recognize me as an enemy of whatever they call the state, because there is no difference in Venezuela between party, state, and criminal enterprise today.
One of his last jobs was working for one Venezuelan president to overthrow the other Venezuelan president. Operation Gideon, a coup attempt launched from Colombia in May 2020 to overthrow Venezuela's socialist government, took 3 ex-Green Berets, 60 soldiers, and months of planning. 2 failed spectacularly.
Operation Gideon was over before the 2 boats even hit Venezuela's shore.
The government had detained 2 former U.S. Special Forces soldiers.
They're accused of being involved in a bizarre and failed plot to overthrow the country's president, Nicolás Maduro.
When the dust settled, at least 6 of the soldiers were dead and dozens were detained, including the 2 Americans recruited for the job, Luke Denman and Aaron Berry, both on their first ever private military contract. And at the center of this doomed enterprise was a Canadian-American mercenary who turned to social media, choosing to tweet this video about the mission, even as it was falling apart.
Our men are continuing to fight right now. Our units have been activated in the south, west, and east of Venezuela.
The video went viral. This is a story of how modern geopolitics unfold. Shadowy mercenaries, fumbling leaders, and Twitter.
Venezuela is a sovereign country. We have articles in the Constitution that says that is not a right, a duty of any Venezuelan with or without power to do whatever necessary, doesn't have any limitation, to overthrow any dictatorship, tyranny, government, oppressors, to regain the rule of law, the Constitution, and democracy. So we have a mandate from the Constitution, not even from the president.
To be clear, when you're saying the president, you're referring to Juan Guaido.
Sure, the only president that we have. We have a tyrant and a president.
Nicolás Maduro is the sitting president of Venezuela. But after years of civil unrest, food shortages, and crushing sanctions, in winter 2019, young charismatic politician Juan Guaido was named president by Venezuela's National Assembly.
Gustavo Tarre, representante especial de la, está llegando a la OEA para ser reconocido por todo el sistema.
The international community, including the Trump administration, quickly recognized his presidency.
Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido.
Guaido called for mass protests and high-level military defections to overthrow Maduro.
Estaremos en las calles. Nos vemos en las calles.
It didn't work, because Maduro held onto control of the military and the security forces. A formal body was created by Venezuelan opposition called the Strategic Committee to investigate ways of ousting Maduro. Rendon was appointed its top strategist.
We went to every law possible. In that process, we discovered we cannot use that law. So we study what is the possibility of someone else, a third party, the French Legion, whoever, to pick him up like they have bounty hunters in the United States and present him to justice.
There's no one way to stage a coup, but history shows that it generally starts with casting mercenaries, ex-soldiers who take
Hey, Juan Guaido, hold this fucking L, bitch. And also, fuck Vice for for like literally not examining, even fucking remotely, examining why he's talking to a CIA asset who's like hell-bent. Okay? Like, you don't even have to be a fucking fan of Maduro or anything like that, but come the fuck on, dude. Are you kidding me? Holy shit, dude. I did see the CIA guy's katana collection. Does this guy have one arm?
In exchange for using or shipping.
Oh my god. Is this like a fucking James Bond movie? Like, what is happening? You got like a one-armed mercenary and shit? What the fuck? Insanity. What is happening right now? I mean, dude, you're being ableist right now.
Sharing their skill set. Rendon was introduced to this guy, Jordan Gaudreau, a decorated ex-Green Beret and the owner of Florida-based private military contractor,
Silver Corps.
I can say I liked the guy in the beginning. He was clever, educated, on time.
Rendon believed Gaudreau, an ex-commando who seemed like a real-life Rambo, actually knew what he was doing.
We needed to transform our military. So he came with a proposal of re-engineering the entire armed forces after freeing the country. So we wanted to know more, and that begins the entire conversation about Operation Helion.
The two reached an agreement. According to a later lawsuit, Gaudreau's Silver Corps...
Dude, how wild. How fucking wild is it that, like, you can, like, openly say this? Like, that's how powerful America is, okay? I just want you to fucking, just for a brief moment, think about this, okay? America is so fucking powerful that they can just literally be like, yeah, of course we're gonna fucking coup d'etat. Like, what do you mean? Also, again, even the most lib, this is why I say there's always bipartisan consensus on this stuff, right? Like, even the most, like, lib outlet like Vice, okay, they're super lib, right? They're libbed up. Don't even ask questions about, like, don't even think about why, like, there's bipartisan consensus on, you know, doing a fucking coup d'etat and inserting Juan Guaido in a position of power as, like, the true leader of the country. Also, wonderful to think about. Another wonderful thing to think about right now is that, like, he's, like, Juan Guaido is still alive. You know what I mean? It's not like you're 5 minutes in. No, I'm sorry, dude. Like, even the fact that they're talking to this dude without, like, any sort of criticism attached to it is fucking silly as shit to me. I'm sorry. Like, this is gonna turn around and be like, I bet you, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like this conversation is going to turn around to, like, how ill-equipped the CIA was with their contracted help because of Donald Trump, like, undermining and underfunding the CIA or some shit. At most, that's, like, the most lib criticism you can fucking apply to American intervention nowadays. It's so, I mean, that's, by the way, you're saying, oh my God, true. It's not just me. Chris Coons literally said that publicly. He said, we tried to do a soft coup in Venezuela and we couldn't do it because Donald Trump has undermined our State Department and its awesome powers that it once had. Okay? So, sorry, but this shit is fucking insane to me. Or not Chris Coons, Chris Murphy. Sorry. That's wild, dude.
Corps stood to gain a $1.5 million retainer and, if the coup worked, over $200 million backed by Venezuelan oil.
There was some awareness that Jordan Gaudreau had planned to undertake some sort of offensive operation.
A military action, let's call it. Military action. Overthrow, kill, capture. We didn't get into the specifics at that moment.
But before any military action, Gaudreau needed troops and the right personnel to train them. So he brought in his former brothers-in-arms, two more ex-Green Berets, Luke Denman and Aaron Berry.
I always would say to him, dude, clear and present danger. If you don't have that U.S. flag on your shoulder, they don't have responsibility for you. The reason they're hiring you is because you're deniable.
This is Mark Denman, brother of Luke, who's languishing in a Venezuelan jail at this very moment.
Yeah,
Since he left Special
fucked,
Forces,
bitch.
he's always getting offers from, we'll be on a hunting trip, and guys will talk about how much money they made doing contracting.
Mercenary work.
Contracting work, sure. So for 7 years, since he left the military, he's never accepted any of these offers. So now he tells me he's in Colombia, and I immediately kind of heavy sigh, what are you doing, man? Then he goes on to start talking about it and how meaningful it is, and it's the most important thing he's done in his life, and he's doing things that really make a difference.
So he's texting you.
Sorry, bitch. Should have assassinated the Haitian president instead. Seems like that was a easier contract that they took, allegedly.
In 2020 at this point, right?
Yeah, he's texting me from Colombia.
And he's saying he's involved in an operation.
He's a
Did he
gig
tell you what
economy
it was
worker,
for?
dude.
He didn't call it an operation. He just says he's down there training Colombians. And I said, my response was, who are you doing this for? He says it's a private contract sanctioned by the U.S. government, hired by the president of, the rightful president, I don't remember the exact phrasing he used, but the rightful president of Venezuela.
And so he, from what you're gathering, he thinks this is completely backed
Yes,
by the Trump
this is a U.S.
administration.
operation.
Do you think America would ever allow? Do you think America would ever allow, like, another politician to fucking contract hitmen to kill, like, the current president? What do you think would happen? They would murder him. They would hang him for treason. Like, they would make a public show of they would make a public fucking example out of that person. All I'm saying is, Guaido, not dead.
This is exactly.
For the supply of soldiers, they turned to Caribe, a network of Venezuelan soldiers that defected with the ultimate goal of getting rid of Maduro. One of the leaders of Caribe is Captain Javier Nieto Quintero.
Commander Nieto is with me, is co-located.
Nieto is this guy. He and the Caribe network readily joined Operation Gideon.
Hey,
How you doing?
how you doing?
They even got a field commander, Cliver Alcalá, who began training troops for Operation Gideon in La Guajira, Colombia.
So, did you ever hear about the plans for Operation Gideon?
My staff asked me, Caribe, which is the militaries and police
Holy fuck, the cop skull on this motherfucker. Oh my god, dude.
and, around the world, they asked me to go directly see eyes to eyes Cliver Alcalá, and he gave me some information about the operations.
Since the goal of Operation Gideon was to overthrow the Venezuelan government, they needed to convince generals inside the country to turn against Maduro. And the generals weren't going to join without assurance that this was a functional and well-resourced operation.
Cliver Alcalá got like, I don't know how many rifles and night vision, stuff like that. That show up the political leaders in Venezuela and the international community that the commitment was already there for the freedom of Venezuela.
Totally.
Primero, mi impresión de conseguirme algo totalmente diferente a lo que uno se imagina que es una operación. Todos los muchachos, la gran mayoría, practicaban con armas de madera.
A source with intimate knowledge of the inner workings of Operation Gideon provided these exclusive videos to Vice News.
Yo cuando llegué allá yo pensé que iba a haber armas, iba a haber equipos. Y durante los 30 días que estuve, las veces que llegué a preguntar por las armas o por los equipos, por el equipamiento, siempre recibía la respuesta de que estaban en camino, de que venían. Pero lo que sí vivía como algo fuerte, como algo determinante, era la voluntad de los muchachos de querer hacer algo por Venezuela.
I love doing the will of the Venezuelan people, like, in this way. It's fucking dope. I guess the will of the Venezuelan people was overthrown by a bunch of fucking fishermen, dude.
Egresé como sargento segundo de la Guardia Nacional, componente de la Fuerza Armada.
Roberto joined Operation Gideon after he defected from the Venezuelan military in 2019.
No salimos de Venezuela como dicen ellos, que somos unos traidores, ¿no? Salimos para tomar acciones contra la dictadura.
Roberto was one of more than 60 men who trained for Operation Gideon.
Why are they hiding his fucking voice if they showed his face? I'm so confused.
Which primarily took place not in an obscure, remote location, but in the city of Riohacha, and in plain sight.
Estamos en una casa particular. Ahí convivimos 20 compañeros.
What was a normal day inside this house? What did you do?
Entrenamos teóricamente las tácticas militares y las capacidades de cada individuo de tropa.
The men moved between 3 houses, trained with wooden guns, and there was apparently only enough food to eat once a day.
Broke boy?
And what did all the neighbors think when they kept seeing like 20 soldier-looking dudes going in and out of these smaller houses?
No teníamos equipo, no teníamos prendas militares. Eliminamos el vocabulario militar para comunicarnos y decíamos que trabajamos en un mercado de la ciudad y así nos levantar sospecha a la comunidad. Las casas están ubicadas en un punto estratégico accesible para ir caminando hacia la playa. La utilizamos para un entrenamiento básico, pesas, lecciones en el mar como nadar larga distancia para obtener bastante condiciones, resistencia, como la operación iba a ser por mar, teníamos la iniciativa de hacer algo por nuestro país, pero las cosas no se dieron como esperábamos.
Homies were just chilling, dude. They were just fucking straight chilling, bro. They were just having a little vacay.
No tenían un apoyo completo para lo que se estaban preparando, ni en la parte alimentaria, ni en la parte social, inclusive hasta económica, porque todos tenían familia, todos tenían problemas. De verdad que fue trágico y realmente creo que eso fue otro de los factores que determinó que esa operación.
Bro, how can anyone? You have to be like completely fucking blinded by American exceptionalism if you watch this and not even come out of this thinking like, okay, shit is fucked up. Like it maybe the will of the Venezuelan people wasn't I don't know, doing a fucking coup d'etat and you know, putting Guaido in a position of power.
Tuviese ese final. Tú no puedes tener a alguien preparado para una actividad de esas si tiene la cabeza en otro lado.
Roberto says Jordan Goudreau, the supposed leader, was mostly absent during the training.
What do you think about that guy?
Él impartía conocimientos, tácticas militares por la experiencia, pero no era un líder para nosotros. No interactuamos con él, que normalmente compartimos todo el tiempo fue con Luke y Aaron.
Goudreau believed he had the backing of the U.S. government. But, at least publicly, then or since, the U.S. wasn't backing Operation Gideon.
Oh,
no one was.
No.
Even the contract with
baby.
Rendon had been supposedly canceled months earlier.
Oh.
So, throughout this, Jordan Goudreau is claiming that the U.S. government is backing this operation.
Yes.
And Juan Guaido, throughout this entire process, doesn't go to the U.S. government and try to vet that piece of information?
No, because we didn't know it was true or not. The only thing that was concerned for us was the backers. The contract specifically said that if you don't bring the backers, the contract is null and void. So he didn't bring the backers, we didn't pay the money, the contract became null and void.
But then more signs of the mission falling apart emerged. In late March 2020, Alcalá turned himself in to U.S. authorities after being indicted on drug trafficking charges, leaving the mission without its commander.
When the Cleaver Alcalá got in prison, he called me, by the way. Nieto, this is impossible. After that, I lose my hope.
Get fucked.
This operation.
And that wasn't the only problem. Just a month before the operation, Maduro's number 2 person, Diosdado Cabello, actually went on Venezuelan national TV and detailed how they had explicit information on the mission.
Aquí 3, en el escenario de Estados Unidos, Jordan, Luke y Aaron.
Not an ideal development for a clandestine coup attempt.
La información que llegó a tener el régimen acerca de la operación vino primero que todo por la detención
This is the best thing Trump did, by the way.
muchachos que fue a Venezuela a visitar a su familia. El nickname de él era El Búho, era un capitán del ejército. Y por supuesto, al tenerlo detenido, al apresarlo, bajo torturas, me imagino, como siempre, le sacaron toda la información. Y dio la información de algunos nombres, ubicaciones, posiciones. A partir de ese día se comenzó a derrumbar.
Didn't they also try to fucking kill him? Try to kill Maduro with a drone? Like a UAV drone, though? Not like a fucking drone? Where they try to, like, explode, like, one of those, like, little fucking drones near him? Wasn't that something that fucking happened, too? Am I misremembering? It was, like, one of those, like, little baby drones that they, like, had, like, some explosives attached to it. Dude, they tried the wackest shit, dude. It literally... They blew it up near him, but the goal wasn't assassination. What are you, in the fucking CIA? Should I root for Maduro or Guaido? You should root for the Venezuelan people, okay? And what I personally believe, despite Maduro being not great and overall bad, is that what's best for... The unfortunate reality is, what's best for the fucking Venezuelan people is not a guy who literally runs around as a Western puppet, going to all the fucking regional leaders and turning around and being like, actually, immediately, I'm going to privatize the fucking oil fields once again. Please, let me be president. Like, you had a fucking constitutional power afforded to you, and instead of running re-elections immediately, you fucking just didn't do shit. You literally didn't do shit. You just went to America, hung out with fucking Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump. Maduro, on the other hand, unironically did say, I'm willing and able to fucking do another re-election if you guys want it. Okay? It's a situation where you're stuck with like one guy who's bad and one guy who's even fucking worse. Okay? That's just how it fucking works. It's always the case. Like, there's never a country, though, on this fucking planet that has ever been better off as a consequence of an American fucking coup. Okay?
Todo. Yo dije, esto se cayó porque este lo va a decir todo. Y sin embargo, la operación continuó.
As the day of the launch approached, the new commander upped the training, and the men went outside the city into the desert.
Esos 40 días en el desierto lo llamamos nosotros como algo bíblico. Duramos bajo la clandestinidad, el sol muy fuerte, la sequía. No podía fracasar la misión, no podíamos desistir del lugar porque ya habíamos recorrido bastante trayecto para llegar hasta allá, hasta que se llegó el día. Cuando llegó la embarcación, zarpamos en 2 lanchas hacia el territorio venezolano.
Oh,
Salimos de noche para no ser detectados.
Within hours of launching, the boats lost contact with each other, and the first boat was intercepted by the Venezuelan military, and several of the Operation Gideon's soldiers were killed. Then the second boat learned what happened to the first.
Nos informa que todo ya habíamos fracasado, que tratamos de tocar tierras venezolanas para escapar. Nos internamos en la montaña.
So you were in the same boat as the Americans?
Sí.
So what happens then when you disembark on land? What happens to them?
Ellos en ningún momento se bajaron de la lancha, lo veíamos de la montaña. Sí, ellos no colocaron nada de resistencia, se quisieron pasar por pescadores, pero ya había mucha información del personal militar que se encontraba en las costas.
How did you escape then?
Bro, that's so fucking embarrassing, dude. The military let fishermen apprehend these dudes who were supposed to do the fucking coup d'etat. Can you imagine? Like, literally getting owned by fucking fishermen. $1.5 million in the fucking trade. Which is, of course, like chump change if you're, if your funding vehicle for, operations such as this one is the opiate trade in Afghanistan, then, like, obviously, it doesn't matter. $1.5 million. Who cares? You do that every day. JSOC does shit like that on a regular basis. But Like they got owned by fishermen, dude. It's awesome. So good.
Y mantuve la calma y fueron transcurriendo las horas, los días y logré salir de esa situación hostil y salí a la ciudad.
Roberto says he walked in the mountains for weeks to cross back into Colombia, escaping from Venezuelan security forces. The mission was over, ending in disaster.
When do you see your brother next? Like, when do you actually see him next?
The
His
next
face?
videos we saw were their supposed confession, where they're holding up the contract.
Who commands Jordan?
President Donald Trump.
The Maduro government was pushing the story that Trump was behind the operation, which the U.S. denied.
Wow, that's so crazy. I can't believe Maduro would jump to such insane conclusions.
Have been involved, it would have gone differently.
Since leaving public office, Bill Richardson has been working as a hostage negotiator, trying to free imprisoned Americans abroad. He's leading the charge to free Aaron Berry and Luke Denman.
I don't think that we're going to be able to get them out right away because the situation is so hostile between the two countries. There are negotiations.
Even Richardson has suspicions about whether or not the U.S. was involved or knew of the situation.
I don't know what happened. I don't have access to intelligence reports the way I used to, but it seemed suspicious. And the Trump administration did, in foreign policy, have rogue elements, people that were not in the State Department that were doing stuff on their own. And you know, so I wouldn't put it past them, but I can't conclusively say.
A mission intended to be a coup was now ending in a legal battle. In October 2020, Gaudreau filed a lawsuit in U.S.
Always rogue elements, dude, totally.
court against Rendon for breach of contract. In it, he named several people in Trump's orbit. Gaudreau alleges he met former bodyguard and Trump insider Keith Schiller, who introduced him into the coup. He also alleges he sat down in Washington, D.C. with a member of Vice President Mike Pence's staff to talk about the operation. Emails to Schiller's lawyer went unanswered, while Vice President Pence's office has denied any connections whatsoever to Gaudreau. Through his lawyer, Gaudreau refused to appear in this report and declined to comment on a list of questions, except to say he denies any and all coordination with the Maduro regime. As for Guaido, he says not only did he have nothing to do with the operation, it was all Maduro. Here's what we know. Even though overwhelming evidence showed Operation Gideon was infiltrated by the Maduro government, Gaudreau still launched it, and then basically disappeared.
If you could tell Jordan Gaudreau anything right now, what would you tell him?
Honor your oaths. You made oaths. These are your brothers. Do what you're meant to do. Step up. Stop looking out for yourself.
If there was an invasion of Venezuela, how many people, from your estimation, would join up with you? They're just waiting for something to happen.
90% de las fuerzas militares policiales.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Un movimiento que inicie, que dé el paso para que tome un golpe militar.
90%, dude, totally. 90%. It's just that, like, you know, but like those darn fishermen, except for the fishermen, 90%. That's why they were able to successfully thwart it, you know? They just went against the 10% that were all fishermen. Fishermen love Maduro. Bro, these guys, 90% of the forces and the police, yeah, it's fucking bullshit, dumbass. That's literally fucking bullshit. Yeah, 90% of the Colombian fucking police, which the American government funds, which is currently too busy beating the asses of every fucking Colombian in the country and torturing them. Maybe 90% of the Colombian police force, but not 90% of the fucking Venezuelan police force. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. You just literally that guy just made that shit up. And you're a dumbass who fucking bought it hook, line, and sinker because, you know, oh, it's a Venezuelan guy. Like, Americans are so fucking stupid. This is one of the things where, like, my international perspective does actually help because I'm Turkish, so I don't see it from the same way that you do, where it's like, I understand that a different country has not a fucking monolith, but actually a complete, like, a group of individuals who have different fucking points of view. But you can't see that. You think like every Venezuelan is united. Okay? This doesn't even mean that like Maduro is good or bad, by the way. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you motherfuckers unironically love thinking about it in a monolithic capacity. You're like, oh, every Venezuelan must hate Maduro. Every Venezuelan wants to do a coup d'etat. It's so stupid. Also, Vice is so fucking CIA. Holy shit, dude. This video is the absolute worst way to cover the story. It's like a laughable story, and yet you're still like trying to give it legs as best as possible. Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck me.
Would you do this all again? Would you try to overthrow Maduro in another operation if you had the chance?
Por los momentos, no le puedo responder esa respuesta.
He's like, would you do a coup again? Come on.
De seguir luchando por nuestro futuro, precisamente de nuestros hijos y la libertad de nuestro pueblo.
Do you ever think you're going to succeed in overthrowing this Venezuelan government?
Sometimes I doubt it. Most of the times, I wake up thinking that we will eventually succeed.
Bro, he's talking to this fucking dude. Like the dude is basically like talking about buying ice cream. How insane is that? Like, what an insane fucking way to cover this. He's just like, he's basically just like, hey, yeah. Yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever.